Welcome to Life Planning 101, brought to you by Kennedy Financial Services of Eastland. Tune in every Monday morning at 8:30 on KATX and again on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on KATX and KWBY as Angela Robinson joins Stace Gaddy to share important financial information to help you live life on purpose, insurance, investments, estate and tax planning, and much more. All covered now on Life Planning 101.
Welcome in, my friends, to another edition of Life Planning 101. I'm Stace Gaddy, thrilled to have you along with us this morning. As always, our expert in the subject, Angela Robinson from Kennedy Financial Services here in Eastland. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Stace. Very happy to be on the show this morning, all this wonderful weather. And since it's Halloween, we've got a very scary topic this week.
Okay.
Taxes.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I know that's always...
there's a boo.
Yeah, there's a boo, yeah, for sure. But, I think it's a very good topic. We're going to talk about what the current tax environment is like, what you can kind of expect with the tax environment. I've got 5 great tips at the end of the show today to be able to give you on potentially lowering your taxes. And then I also want to let you know we've got a guest speaker coming up in the second segment of the show that has nothing to do with taxes, but it's going to lighten our load, so you don't want to miss our second segment of the show. But, a question I think for everybody, and it might be a rhetorical one, is did your taxes go up this last year? And,
yes.
I think that for pretty much everyone it did. In fact, in 2013, we don't have the numbers for 14 yet, but in 2013, 77% of Americans experienced a tax increase.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? Mm-hmm. So, you hear all these politicians talk about, only the top 1% pays taxes and this and that. It's a bunch of malarkey. 77% of taxpayers saw a tax increase. And to add insult to any of that injury, it really hasn't stopped there because our itemized deductions are disappearing. We've had 2 new taxes that have been introduced in this time frame to fund Obamacare and to fund additional Medicare support. And, to be honest with you, we've got a real big problem kind of stewing right now because I don't think we're going to see any major changes in our tax returns, the way we do things in the near future, because we've got an election year coming up, right? It'd be political murder for someone to actually do something this year. So you probably won't see anything major till 2017. But the problem is that there has been a lot of proposals that have been made to Congress and about this is what we can do to be able to raise taxes in these areas and cut taxes here and change the tax proposal, yada, yada. Well, you couple that with, we're kind of in this place where the government, if you notice, they're really not increasing our deficit, which is a good thing. But the way that they're not doing that is with every dollar they go to spend, they have to find that income somewhere to pay for it. And by income, when you're talking about the government, that means taxes. So, and you add to that, there's a lot of increased pressure right now to spend money. For example, you've heard a lot about our highway reconstruction, all of our bridges and things that need to be rebuilt. So, we've got our schools and all this stuff that there's a lot of pressure to spend money. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. However, they've got to find a way to pay for it. And because of those recent tax proposals that are already laid out that talk about all the tax loopholes out there, guess what they're going to do? They're just going to pull bits and pieces off of those tax proposals to pay for these things that need to get done. So just because there isn't going to be a major tax overhaul between now and 2017, don't think that it's going to be pretty, okay? That's why we're talking about this on the week of Halloween, all right? It's going to be
scary.
Yes, it is. It is. And you know what? I was just curious last week. So I did a little research to total up the amount of taxes that a mid-income homeowner living in Fort Worth, Texas, would pay this year. And we're just going to assume this person makes $100,000 a year. That's not a very high income. It's not very low income, just average income. They live in a $200,000 home, and they spend $4,000 a month on taxable items. So, any guesses, Stace, on what that might be?
I wouldn't even venture a guess. I really wouldn't.
Okay. They would pay a whopping $38,226.25 in taxes on $100,000 of income.
A little over a third.
Yeah. So we think our tax bracket is 15%, for somebody in that income range once they get their deductions, maybe 25. No, they're really paying 38% of their income in taxes. That's
I pretty
huge.
much assume a third. If I'm calculating if I get a new job and I know what my salary, I assume a third. Is that Smart.
Well, in this case, $100,000 is almost 40%. So, and I think it is smart to assume that you're at least going to pay a third, if not more. And if you think about that, I'm always curious. We go to all these conferences and we hear all this all the time. And every year they bring up, okay, well, how many tax days did it take, or how many work days did it take someone this year to pay their taxes? Well, that number for this year, yes. Guess what it is? Take a wild guess. 43 days.
Oh, I hate that. You're working 43 days for the government before you collect a dime.
That's right. That's right. Isn't that crazy? That's more than 2 months out of the year that you're actually paying. So you might as well just not even work January and February because you're going to give it all to the government.
And our infrastructure is still crumbling.
That's right. So it is a big problem. And what most Americans don't know, okay, is that taxes are actually voluntary. Interesting, isn't it? All right. Just an example: a small business owner can actually they have 171 deductions that they have available to them. Okay. Do you know how many deductions they actually take on average?
No, ma'am.
171 available. No guesses. I'm putting you on the spot this morning.
Sure, I'll guess. I'll guess really low. 25.
Great guess. 23.
Good guess.
23 out of 171.
But that's extremely low.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is later in our show, we're actually going to talk about, this situation and what needs to happen to be able to take advantage of more of these deductions. And then I'm actually going to give you 5 little tips to take away that you need to do before the end of the year, before it's too late for 2015.
Excellent. Angela Robinson, our expert. You're listening to Life Planning 101. We're going to take a quick break, check in with our fantabulous sponsors. Keep it right here. Welcome back, folks, and once again, special thanks to all of our sponsors that make these programs possible, and to you, our faithful listeners. Really do appreciate you. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Life Planning 101. I'm Stace Gaddy, our expert Angela Robinson in studio, of course. This segment, we also have a special guest. Is that correct, Mrs. Robinson?
Yes, we do. And since golf is a lot like taxes, you drive hard to get to the green and then you end up in the hole, right? Sure. Yeah, we thought we would have a guest this morning that would lighten up the load, so to speak, because we are on a heavy topic that no one really enjoys talking about. But we, as you all know that are local, we have a new owner out at Lakeside Golf Course, Derek Jones, and he is doing just an absolutely wonderful job out there cleaning that up and doing a lot of things with the course that we all appreciate, being locals around here, to be able to bring in new people. And one of those things that he's done is he's actually brought in a golf pro who's been in the industry for almost 30 years. He actually teaches all around Dallas for top juniors in the PGA. He's helped Top Golf develop their golf instruction side of their business. I mean, this guy is for real. He's not just some peananny he brought in to be able to teach something. So we're really, really happy to have him with us today. And as you know, we are a life planning firm. And so the tips that he's going to give us today aren't just all about golf, but they're about life as well. And so that maybe we don't end up in the hole, so to speak, in life, but can in golf. So Dave Vernack, we're real happy to have you on the show this morning. Thanks for being with us.
Angela, glad to be here. One of the big things, just like you said, drive for show and putt for dough. Yep. Obviously, that's pretty much the deal out there when you're playing golf. You approach the green, you might hit a great drive, and you're 100 yards out, and the guy makes a double bogey. It takes him 4 to get the ball in the hole. So
I'm guilty.
It happens all the time. So it takes so when you're out there playing like that, and you run into a situation where you're having those types of problems, you get finished, you look at your scorecard, and you're like, wow, how did I shoot a 95 or a 115, or maybe you normally shoot 75 and you shoot 85, and you're like, how did that happen? So you look at it and you have to ask yourself, do I really have the desire to get better? Just like in life, if I want to get better at anything, first I have to have the desire to do it. And obviously, in golf, there's so much knowledge out there available on the internet. There's lots of golf professionals around the country that can help you with your game. The Golf Channel, there's always something on the Golf Channel to help you to learn something about the game. So there's definitely, if you have a desire to get better, the information is out there, to do it. And I would urge everyone that wants to get better at golf to, seek that knowledge, seek out maybe a better player that you play with, ask them what they're trying to work on, and that would really help them out quite a bit. One of the big things, once you start playing golf, that you'll run into is just staying motivated. And I think that goes just through life in general. Just staying motivated, because it's going to be a lot of uphill and downhill battles. You may start off playing well right when you come out of the box, and then throughout that round of golf, it might really get bad, or maybe from week to week your game might struggle. So just staying motivated is a really tough thing to do. And obviously, same thing in life. You might have a situation where maybe you lose your job, or maybe something happens in your life that you lose something, and just staying motivated through those situations is really good. So I think that's big in golf also. We'll see some of the great players in the PGA Tour. One week they'll go out there and you'll see them shoot 16, 20 under. This last weekend we had some players shooting some great scores out on the PGA Tour, but you don't see at the very bottom of the list the players that maybe 3 or 4 weeks prior to that they shot a 78 and a 76 and missed the cut. So it's not always every week. It's not always your greatest round of golf. You're not always going to be on top of your game. So obviously staying motivated is big. One of the things, if you watch the tour out there, you watch some of the things the players do out there, you'll notice their routine of what they do. Every time they hit a golf shot, they're going through a very specific routine. And when I was teaching a lot of my juniors, I'll talk to them and I'll say, guys, So I'm looking at your routine here, and it just varies every time you hit a golf shot. And having the same routine can make a huge difference in your game. In other words, set up to the golf ball, lining to your target, and doing it. And when we watch the players on the tour, we can actually take a stopwatch and put it on them, and we can almost time them. And most of them are sitting there, 15 to 20 seconds. Some are a lot less. We can actually time how long it takes them to hit a shot. And if you got up in the morning, I'm sure most of us set our clock this morning and said, what do I have to do this morning? I have to get to work. And we might have gotten up at 6, some of us got up at 5, and we have down to science how long it takes us to take our shower, to brush our teeth, to get something to eat, to go through the drive-thru. And the same thing goes for hitting a golf shot on the golf course. It takes a certain amount of time predicting what type of shot you're going to hit. In other words, seeing that type of shot you're going to hit, and then asking yourself, well, gosh, if I hit that shot before, and then feeling it. In other words, feeling it in your swing, and then actually doing it. So if you can kind of think about your routine in life and in golf, see what you're going to do, feel it, see if you can feel what you're going to do, and then also obviously do it like in the Nike.
All right, I am clear now, Angela Robinson. When you brought a golf pro onto the program today, I'm thinking, where is she going with this? But now I understand, because in just what he said, I'm already seeing the correlation. We're using golf as a metaphor for life planning. So you take it away, but I'm with you, girl.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because John Maxwell. If you've done any kind of motivational reading in life, you know who John Maxwell is. He was one of the greatest motivational speakers of all time, and he always says, "Begin with the end in mind." And you've got to always have that pictured in your mind, because just like you mentioned, you just brought up 3 great points there.
Yes.
That we all face in life and golf and roping, in my case, whatever it is.
Right.
That you hit these roadblocks. And I actually draw this out for our team. We do quarterly retreats, and we talk about how, we go things that, like when we start something like golf, and you get this nice little shoot up, like everything's doing great. I think I can do this. Okay, I feel really good about this. And then we have this setback, and then things just go stagnant, and that's where we can choose to quit, not practice, live with the way it is, forget about the routine, whatever it is, or we can stay disciplined with those 3 things you just told us about,
right.
And those are the things that are going to have us moving along. And it may take a year, it may take 2 years, it may take 3, but at some point we're going to hit that next upside, that next climb. And guess what's going to happen again? We're going to go down again. And then
exactly.
we're going to have that pullback again. That is life. That is golf. That's everything. And so, I think it's important for us to remember that, and sports. I love sports because there's such a great configuration with life. And all of us have a passion. And if we just look at our passions like we do our everyday goals, I think we'd have a whole new perspective on things.
Definitely.
So, Dave, we really appreciate you being on the show this morning.
Yes,
and
we do.
Really appreciate Lakeside. I tell you what, if you listen in on the last part of the show, we're going to be giving away 2 free rounds of golf at Lakeside Golf Course today. So you definitely want to be listening into the show.
Ineligible again.
And you forgot the 3 golf lessons.
And the 3 golf lessons.
3 golf lessons.
And you got 3, yeah. Oh, 3. Oh, we got 3 golf lessons. I didn't even know this.
Absolutely
Okay.
free.
And we've got 3 golf
that's part
lessons
of
to
the
give
deal.
away.
That's right.
Okay.
I'm ineligible
All right.
again.
So we're gonna have a piece of trivia, and then we're gonna have something you don't want to miss to do with your taxes to be able to get those 2 free rounds of golf. But we really want to thank Lakeside Golf Course, thank Derek Jones and Dave Renack so much for being on our show and adding so much to our community. I know you guys have got a lot of things going on out there, and we just really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, looking forward to rolling out a great junior golf program for the kids in the community. That's going to be really good.
It's fantastic.
Perfect.
Let me give you a gigantic round of applause. Folks at home can hear it, but you can't. And while I have you on the air, I fully expect a few more visits on Good Morning Texas on our regularly scheduled program. What do you say? You're on the air.
Hey, we look forward to it.
Okay, you heard it, folks. You heard it right here. Listen, let's take a quick break. I'm going to go out and practice my golf swing, and we'll be right back. Welcome back in, everyone, to the final segment this morning of Life Planning 101. I'm Stace Gaddy, and as always, our expert, Angela Robinson. I love this idea. This is wonderful. It's creative. It has initiative. This idea of golf as a metaphor, and then you tying it into, are we paying too much taxes?
Yes, I know.
That is wonderful.
Don't we need like a squeal or something? Are you paying too much taxes on Halloween week? I think we have a squeal.
I do have a... Let's see.
Yeah, because we did say golf is a lot like taxes. You know, you drive hard to get to the green, and you wind up in the hole, right? So,
yeah.
But, we were talking before we had our great guest speaker, Dave, on the show. And by the way, I'm going to go ahead and give you this because I'm going to give you it twice in the ending segment here. Life planning at Kennedy-financial.com. Life planning at Kennedy-financial.com. You have two things to email about. All right. One is going to be our piece of trivia. And the first part actually reverts back to the beginning of the show. So for the beginning of the show, if you remember, I talked about the homeowner in Texas that spends or that makes $100,000 a year and is paying about 38% in taxes. So over $38,000 a year in taxes, making $100,000 a year, right? And so, of course, I'm going to have homework for you this week.
Okay.
I mean, you should know this, right? And your homework is to figure out what your total tax bill was in 2014. Your federal taxes, your state taxes, property taxes, Social Security, Medicare, approximate sales tax that you made. Most of us are pretty lazy and we file that extension and we just filed our taxes last week. So it shouldn't be too hard to figure out. But we are looking for the biggest number, all right? And whoever sends us the biggest number, life planning at Kennedy-financial.com is going to get 2 free rounds of golf at Lakeside Golf Course here in Eastland. So really excited to be able to give that away. We're looking for the biggest number that you paid in taxes.
It's the only time in your life when your high taxes will help you.
Yeah, well, it's hard to believe that America was founded on the fact, or one of the reasons it was founded was to avoid taxation.
That's
and here
right.
we are today in this really bad place, tax-wise. So, I think we at least should make it some fun, right? At least get a good deal out of it.
Take the edge off of the pain.
Yeah, take the edge off of the pain. And before we left the segment in the beginning, we talked about a small business owner having 171 deductions available to him. However, most only take advantage of about 23. So I think a lot of people at this point get a little upset with their CPA or their accountant when they hear something like this. I don't want you to. And the reason why is your CPA or accountant is most likely, 99.9% of the ones that we have worked with, they don't have a business that's designed to find everything out about your unique situation, your future and goals, your family dynamics, and all the strategies that you implement with your other advisors to be able to know what tax deductions you can take. In fact, y'all just kind of work on a don't ask, don't tell situation, or maybe you do tell them everything, but they aren't in a planning aspect. That's not what their business is. Their business is to be able to just help you implement the strategies that are already be able to put in place, make sure that you're doing the right thing. In fact, I had a client in last week ask, well, how do I know when to file all these things? I said, that's what your CPA is for. They're there to keep you out of hot water. They're not there to be able to help you lower your taxes on a significant level. And for that same reason, I can't do that either in a single show,
Right.
So what I am going to do is I'm going to tell you this. There are ways to be able to do this. That's what we specialize in, is advanced tax planning strategies, okay? But I'm going to leave you with 5 simple ones to be able to take away.
Okay.
Do this before the end of the year, or else, it's kind of your fault for not
And this
taking
is your
advantage
homework,
of it.
too. Write this down.
Yeah, this is part of your homework. So, number 1, max out your retirement plan, all right? If you've got a 401k and you're over 50, you can put $24,000 a year into that, not pay taxes on that. That's huge, okay?
Great tip.
Yes, so make sure you're doing that. Number 2, look for losses. We just had a downturn in the market, and if you have some losses, that might have created some opportunity for you to sell and take those losses to be able to offset some income on your tax return. You can still stay invested, just take the losses. Number 3, don't forget about your health savings account. This is a great little tool that is becoming more and more popular. You can put money back today and get a tax deduction. It grows tax-free as long as you use it for healthcare later in life. And don't tell me you're not going to need it. I mean, we are paying more for healthcare today than we have ever had as retirees, and it's getting bigger. And number 4, if you have a bigger income this year, you can use what we call a donor advised fund, okay, to be able to offset charitable contributions that are going to take charitable contributions this year that you can use for later years, okay? Number 5, this is a just-in-case strategy because Congress hasn't made all of the extensions yet and everything else, but take advantage of those 179 deductions, Section 179. In other words, purchase your cars, your equipment, your software. You may be able to get the big full write-off for those this year. Also, send your required minimum distributions if you have an IRA directly to a charity. And if you do that, you avoid it even showing up on your tax return. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So big stuff there. So if you didn't catch those, remember we do have these archived on the website, so you're more than welcome to look at them. But I want to get to our trivia because that, by the way, our friends, is given to us by Lakeside Golf Course. Dave Renack on the show earlier today gave away 3 golf lessons. Okay, for this. And here it is. How many days this last year, did it take to pay your taxes? Nope, sorry. You're not even getting it right. So don't feel bad. You wouldn't have got the golf lessons days. But yes, okay. You can email us lifeplanning@kennedy-financial.com. How many working days did it take to pay your taxes?
I did get it too. I was doing, numbers with my fingers, and I got it on the 3rd try.
Yeah. So, and if you email us for that, and email us also with your number. What's your number? How much taxes did you pay? The biggest number is going to get 2 free rounds of golf at Lakeside Golf Course. Want to reward those with the most pain. So
yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Angela Robinson. Always great information, and not to mention, it's absolutely free of charge, folks. If you listen here, you can also listen again on Saturdays at 9 a.m. on KATXradio.com or KWBYradio.com. We rebroadcast to the Monday program. And also, as Angela mentioned, we do have the programs archived with corresponding articles. So if you missed any of the information, it is there for you. I usually try to have it posted later on Monday, sometimes on Tuesday, depending on people's schedules. But it is there, KATXradio.com or KWBYradio.com. Any final thoughts this morning, Mrs. Robinson?
No, just don't squeal when you figure out that final number. It's going to hurt, I promise. So.
Oh, it's going to hurt. We thank you as always. And folks, thank you. Join us again next time for more Life Planning 101.
Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101, brought to you by Kennedy Financial Services of Eastland. Tune in every Monday morning at 8:30 on KATX and again on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock on KATX and KWBY for more Life Planning 101.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through VSR Financial Services Incorporated, a registered investment advisor and member of FINRA SIPC. Kennedy Financial Services is not owned or controlled by VSR Financial Services Incorporated.